What happens when a Hollywood duchess walks onto a British talk show and forgets she is not royalty anymore? In just 35 seconds, one comment ignites a firestorm that turns a casual interview into the most explosive moment in daytime television history. This is the story of how Meghan Markle went from guest to gone in the blink of an eye. The Loose Women set is buzzing with energy. The cameras are rolling. The audience is seated. 4 panelists sit behind the desk. And at the center of it all is Denise Welch, the veteran broadcaster known for her quick wit and no-nonsense approach. Today's special guest is Meghan Markle, and the producers have been promoting this interview for weeks. This is supposed to be a friendly chat, a lighthearted conversation about life, career, and current projects. But from the moment Meghan walks onto the stage, something feels different. Meghan takes her seat next to Denise. The applause dies down. Denise smiles warmly and begins with what should be an easy opener. "Welcome to Loose Women, Meghan. We are so thrilled to have you here today. How are you doing?" Meghan barely makes eye contact. She glances at the audience, then back at Denise, and offers a tight smile. "I am doing well, thank you," she says. Her tone is flat, almost dismissive. The other panelists exchange quick glances. This is not the warm, engaging start they were hoping for. Denise presses forward, trying to bring some life into the conversation. "We have been following your journey for years now. You have had such an interesting career. Tell us, what are you working on these days?" Meghan shifts in her seat. "Well, Denise, I have several projects in development. I am working with some very important people on initiatives that really matter, things that will make a real difference in the world." Denise nods encouragingly. "That sounds wonderful. Can you tell us a bit more about these projects? What kind of initiatives are you focusing on?" Meghan pauses. She looks at Denise as if the question is somehow beneath her. "I would rather not get into specifics right now," she says. "These are high-level discussions with very influential people. I am sure you understand." The audience goes quiet. Denise maintains her composure, but there is a flicker of something in her eyes. She smiles politely and tries a different angle. "Of course. Well, let us talk about something else then. You have lived in both America and the UK. What do you miss most about British culture?" Meghan lets out a small laugh, but it does not sound genuine. "Honestly, Denise, I am not sure there is much I miss. The weather is terrible, the food is bland, and the tabloids are vicious. I think America suits me much better." The other panelists look stunned. One of them, a British comedian, shifts uncomfortably in her chair. Denise, however, keeps her cool. "Well, and that is quite honest," she says with a diplomatic smile. "But surely there must be something you enjoyed about living here." Meghan shrugs. "I suppose the history is interesting, but honestly, I found the whole experience quite limiting. There are so many rules, so many expectations. It felt suffocating." Denise raises an eyebrow. The tension in the studio is palpable now. The audience is silent. The cameras are capturing every second. Denise decides to shift the conversation again. "Let us talk about your advocacy work. You have been very vocal about various causes. What drives your passion for activism?" Meghan sits up straighter. "I have always believed in using my platform for good," she says. "I have a responsibility to speak out on issues that matter. Not everyone has the privilege of being heard, but I do, and I intend to use that privilege wisely." Denise nods. "That is admirable. What issues are most important to you right now?" Meghan takes a deep breath. "There are so many. Climate change, social justice, equality. But what really bothers me is the way the media treats women, especially women in the public eye. The scrutiny is relentless. It is unfair. And frankly, it is cruel." Denise leans forward slightly. "You have certainly had your share of media attention. How do you handle the criticism?" Meghan's expression hardens. "I do not handle it, Denise. I rise above it. The people who criticize me do not know me. They do not know my truth. They only know what the tabloids tell them, and the tabloids lie. Denise nods slowly. I think many people in the public eye can relate to that. But do you think there is ever any validity to the criticism? Is it possible that sometimes the media is reflecting genuine concerns from the public? Meghan's eyes flash. No, Denise, I do not think so. The media has an agenda. They want to tear me down because I do not fit their mold. I am different. I challenge the status quo. And they hate that. Denise pauses. She can feel the conversation slipping into dangerous territory. I think what you are describing is something many women face. The double standards, the constant judgment. It is exhausting. Meghan nods. Exactly. And that is why I have to speak out. Someone has to. And if that makes me unpopular, so be it. I would rather be unpopular and authentic than liked and fake. One of the other panelists, sensing an opportunity to lighten the mood, jumps in. Well, I think authenticity is something we all value. Meghan, what do you do to unwind? How do you relax when things get overwhelming? Meghan looks at the panelist as if she has just asked the most ridiculous question in the world. Unwind? She repeats. I do not really have time to unwind. My work is too important. There is always something that needs to be done. Denise steps in. I think what she is asking is, do you have any hobbies? Anything you enjoy doing just for yourself? Meghan shrugs. I enjoy yoga, meditation, things that help me stay centered. But even those activities are part of my self-care routine, which is essential for maintaining the energy I need to do my work. Denise decides to take the conversation in a different direction. Let us talk about your family. You have 2 beautiful children. How do you balance being a mother with all your professional commitments? Meghan's face softens slightly. My children are my world, she says. Everything I do is for them. I want to create a better world for them to grow up in. That is lovely, Denise says. And what about their relationship with their extended family? Do you make an effort to maintain those connections? The question hangs in the air. Meghan's expression changes. The softness is gone. That's a complicated question, Denise, she says slowly. Family is important, but so is protecting your children from toxic environments. Denise treads carefully. I understand. Family dynamics can be difficult. But do you think it is important for children to know their grandparents, their cousins, their extended family? Meghan's jaw tightens. Of course I do, Denise. But not if it means exposing them to people who do not have their best interests at heart. And you believe that is the case? Denise asks gently. I know it is, Meghan says sharply. I lived it, Denise. I know what went on behind closed doors. I know the truth. Denise can feel the tension rising again. She decides to pivot. Let us talk about something lighter. You have always been known for your sense of style. How would you describe your fashion philosophy? Meghan relaxes a little. I believe in dressing with purpose, she says. Every outfit should tell a story. It should reflect who you are and what you stand for. That's a great approach, Denise says. And what story are you telling today with your outfit? Meghan glances down at her clothing. Today, I am telling a story of confidence and power, she says. I wanted to come here and show that I am not afraid. I am not intimidated. Another panelist chimes in. I love that. Do you have any advice for women who are trying to find their confidence? Meghan leans back in her chair. My advice is simple. Stop caring what other people think. Stop seeking validation from people who do not matter. Know your worth and do not settle for anything less. Denise nods. That is good advice. But it is easier said than done, is it not? Most of us do care what people think, at least to some extent. Meghan looks at Denise with a hint of condescension. Well, Denise, maybe that is the problem. Maybe we need to stop caring. Maybe that is why so many women stay stuck in unhappy situations. They care too much about what everyone else thinks. Denise's smile falters for a split second. So, I think there is a balance, she says calmly. Caring about others' perspectives can be a good thing. It helps us grow, learn, and connect with people. Meghan shakes her head. Or it keeps us small. It keeps us from living our truth. The audience is watching intently now. This is not the friendly interview they expected. Denise takes a breath. Let us talk about your future plans. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Meghan's eyes light up. In 5 years, I see myself as a global leader, someone who has made a real impact. I want to be remembered as someone who changed the conversation, who challenged the system, who stood up for what is right. That is ambitious, Denise says. What specific steps are you taking to get there? Meghan waves a hand dismissively. I am working on it. Like I said, I have projects in the works. Big projects with big people. When the time is right, the world will see. Denise presses gently. But can you give us a hint? Anything at all? Meghan looks annoyed. Denise, I already told you I do not want to get into specifics. Why do you keep asking? The audience gasps. Denise maintains her composure. I'm just trying to give our viewers some insight into what you are working on. That is what interviews are for. Meghan crosses her arms. Well, maybe I do not want to share everything with the world. Maybe some things should remain private. Denise nods. That is absolutely your right. But you did agree to come on the show and talk to us. So I am just doing my job. Meghan's face reddens. Your job? Is that what this is about? You are just doing your job? Denise looks confused. Yes, Meghan. I am a talk show host. This is my job. I ask questions. Guests answer them. That is how this works. Meghan leans forward. Maybe that is the problem with shows like this. You think you are entitled to know everything about everyone. You think just because someone sits in this chair, they owe you something. Denise's eyes narrow slightly. I do not think anyone owes me anything, Meghan, but I do think that if you agree to do an interview, you should be prepared to answer questions. Otherwise, why come on the show? The tension is thick now. The other panelists are silent, watching the exchange unfold. Meghan's voice rises. Maybe I came on the show because I was told it would be a friendly conversation, not an interrogation. Denise stays calm. Meghan, I have not interrogated you. I have asked you basic questions. Questions that any guest on this show would expect to answer. Meghan shakes her head. Basic questions? You asked me about my family. You asked me about my children's relationship with their grandparents. That is not basic, Denise. That is invasive. Denise remains composed. I asked you if you think it is important for children to know their extended family. That is a general question. You chose to make it personal. Meghan's eyes flash with anger. Of course it is personal, Denise. Everything about my life is personal. And you know what? I am tired of people like you thinking you have the right to pick it apart. Denise's patience is wearing thin. People like me? What does that mean? Meghan does not back down. People who make a living off of other people's stories. People who pretend to care, but really just want the gossip. People who do not understand what it is like to live under constant scrutiny. Denise's jaw tightens. Meghan, I have been in this industry for decades. I have had my own share of scrutiny. I know exactly what it is like. And I have never pretended to be anything other than what I am, which is a broadcaster who respects her guests. Meghan scoffs. Respects her guests? Is that what you call this? Because it feels more like an ambush. Denise takes a deep breath. Meghan, you are being ridiculous. I have been nothing but polite and professional. That is when Meghan snaps. She stands up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. Ridiculous? She repeats, her voice loud now. You are calling me ridiculous? Denise stands as well, her own frustration finally showing. Yes, Meghan, you are being ridiculous. You came on this show, you agreed to be interviewed, and now you are acting like I have done something terrible by asking you questions. Meghan points a finger at Denise. You do not get to speak to me like that. Do you know who I am? The studio goes silent. The cameras are still rolling. The audience is frozen. Denise looks at Meghan with a mix of disbelief and anger. Yes, Meghan, I know who you are, but that does not give you the right to come on my show and insult me. Meghan's voice is shaking with fury. Insult you? I have not insulted you. I have simply stood up for myself. Something you clearly do not understand. Denise steps closer. Standing up for yourself does not mean attacking everyone around you. It does not mean acting like the world owes you something. Meghan's face is flushed. The world does not owe me anything, Denise. I have earned everything I have. Unlike some people, I did not just fall into this life. I worked for it. Denise shakes her head. This is unbelievable. You are standing here, on my show, in front of my audience, and you are insulting me. You are insulting the entire British public with your attitude. Meghan throws her hands up. Oh, here we go. Now it is about the British public. You people are so obsessed with yourselves. You think everyone should bow down and worship you just because you live on a little island. The audience gasps audibly. The other panelists look horrified. Denise's eyes widen. Excuse me, she says, in her voice low and dangerous. Meghan realizes she has gone too far, but she does not back down. You heard me, she says defiantly. I am tired of pretending. I am tired of walking on eggshells. I am tired of people like you acting like you are better than everyone else. Denise's voice is ice cold now. Meghan, I think you need to leave. Meghan laughs bitterly. Oh, so now you are kicking me off? How very British of you. Can't handle the truth, so you just shut it down. Denise does not flinch. No, Meghan, I am kicking you off because you have disrespected me, this show, and everyone watching. You came here as a guest, and you have behaved appallingly. Meghan grabs her bag from beside her chair. Fine. I do not need this. I do not need you. I do not need any of you. Denise crosses her arms. Then why are you still here? Meghan glares at her. I am leaving. But let me tell you something, Denise. You are going to regret this. You're going to regret treating me this way. Denise does not blink. The only thing I regret is inviting you on this show in the first place. Meghan turns and storms off the set. Her heels click loudly against the floor. The cameras follow her as she disappears through the studio doors. The audience sits in stunned silence. The other panelists are speechless. Denise stands there for a moment, her chest rising and falling with controlled breaths. Then she turns to the camera. Well, Denise says, her voice steady despite the chaos that just unfolded. That was unexpected. I apologize to our viewers for what just happened. We invited Meghan here for a friendly conversation, and unfortunately, things did not go as planned. One of the other panelists leans over. Denise, are you okay? Denise nods. I am fine. I have been doing this job for a long time. I have dealt with difficult guests before, but I have never, in all my years, had someone behave quite like that. Another panelist chimes in. She was completely out of line. You handled it perfectly, Denise. Denise gives a small smile. Thank you. I just hope our viewers understand that we did everything we could to make this a positive experience. We asked fair questions. We were respectful. But at the end of the day, you cannot control how someone else chooses to behave. The audience begins to applaud. Slowly at first, then louder. They are applauding Denise and supporting her, showing her that they saw what happened and they know she was in the right. Denise looks out at them and her smile grows. Thank you, she says. Thank you so much. We have a great show lined up for you today, and we are not going to let one person ruin it. And that is the story. The story of what happens when entitlement meets reality. When someone who is used to being treated like royalty forgets that respect is earned, not demanded. When a simple interview turns into a dramatic confrontation because one person refuses to play by the rules. It is a story about pride, about arrogance, about the consequences of believing you are above everyone else. It is also a story about Denise Welch, a seasoned professional who handled an impossible situation with dignity and strength, who stood her ground when she was disrespected, who showed the world that you do not have to accept bad behavior, no matter who it comes from, who reminded everyone that being famous does not give you the right to treat people poorly. This is what happens when someone forgets that television is a two-way street. When they forget that an interview is a conversation, not a platform for unchecked ego. When they forget that the world does not owe them anything, no matter how much they think it does. And this is what happens when a host refuses to be bullied, refuses to be disrespected, and refuses to let someone hijack her show. The interview that was supposed to be a friendly chat became a masterclass in how not to behave as a guest. It became a cautionary tale about entitlement and arrogance. It became a reminder that no matter who you are, no matter what you have done, you are not above basic human decency. You are not above respect. And if you think you are, eventually someone will call you out. That someone was Denise Welch. And on that day, in that studio, in front of millions of viewers, she showed the world that she was not going to let anyone, no matter how famous, disrespect her or her show. She showed that she had boundaries. She showed that she had self-respect. And she showed that sometimes the kindest thing you can do is refuse to enable bad behavior. So when you think about this story, remember this. It is not just about a dramatic exit. It is not just about a heated exchange. It is about something much bigger. It is about respect. It is about accountability. It is about the fact that no one, not even someone who once wore a crown, is above the basic rules of human interaction. And when you forget that, when you let your ego take over, when you treat people like they are beneath you, eventually it catches up with you. And in this case, what Meghan Markle deserved was to be shown the door.